It's midnight somewhere, and you know what that means. It's time to take a journey. The Idiotically Spooky Place proudly presents The Sky Blinked. Chapter 6, Community. Jeremiah? Is that you? I look up at the guard tower. Eric, hey, how are you? Welcome back. I'll be down there in a second, okay? Eric turns from his post and begins descending some steps. Who's Eric? Takira asks me, a playful smile on her face. He's a guard here at the gate. I respond. Here is outside of a large solid metal gate connected to a large wall made from stacked bricks, rocks, and probably anything solid they could get their hands on and slather some wet cement between. Different chunks of the wall are made from different materials, depending on whatever they could access as they constructed it. Eric, the guard here at the gate, seemed very happy to see you, Takira says. I haven't been here in quite a while. I think there was a little more to it than that. I don't think so. I do. What would make you... The door creaks as it opens, cutting me off. Eric is revealed on the other side, smiling at me. He's wearing one of those black vests with security on the back in bold white font. I never knew where they got it from, but it looked like it was made perfectly for him. How have you been? Eric asks, pulling me into a hug, patting my back. I've been good. Surviving. He pulls back, bringing a hand up to rest on my shoulder. That's good to hear. You should visit more often. We get worried about you. He squeezes a little. I probably should. It's all I can think to say. I don't think I know why. There's always a place here for you, Jeremiah. His eyes linger a moment on me before he turns his attention to Takira. And who would you be? He holds out his hand to her. Takira, I stumbled across Jeremiah not too long ago and he offered to help me out, Takira says, shaking his hand. I can't think of a better place to seek refuge. We're happy to have you. I speak up. Oh, I don't think we're... Thank you. That's very kind, Takira says. Eric points to the cart behind us. What's in there? I look back at it. Right. There was this thing that put people to sleep. Our group is kind of big. 5 total. Eric looks inside at the 3 unconscious people. Oh. Okay. Eric turns to lead us in. He pauses. Turning back, he looks in again. That's... Oh, okay, right. This time, he actually does lead us in, closing and locking the gate behind us after Takira and I push the cart in. The village is just as I remember it. Mismatched buildings and houses of all sizes are strewn everywhere. Some places are a little rundown. Some seem to have been built right before everything went haywire, and then there are the structures clearly made after. Children run around everywhere as adults go for walks or complete whatever little task necessary to keep the place going. There are patches where plants are just allowed to grow without much intervention, and sections of almost wild farms. Everything here has a freedom to it, while also clearly staying ordered. Everything is serene. We have a makeshift hospital not too far away, Eric says. He looks back at me. One of the changed did this? Yeah, I say. He looks at me for a second. He's probably expecting more, isn't he? Do I look guilty right now? Takira begins talking. It released these spores, kinda. We were just coming down the mountain and next thing we know, some of the plants were attacking us. Jeremiah got it with that sword of his. So you're getting better with it, Eric says, smirking. I'm okay with it. Good. He stops us outside of a 2-story building. He scoops up one of the people as if they weigh little more than a bag of flour. Help me bring them in. He doesn't even struggle as he climbs a few steps into the hospital. Takira turns to me the moment he's out of sight. You should ask him to pick you up like that. Takira. What? Are we going to act like that wasn't hot? I kind of want him to do that to me. I reach into the cart and attempt to pick one of them up. Things don't really go as planned. I find that I can't really get a grip, and whenever I kind of do, I find that I don't exactly have the strength to get them up. Not like Eric, at least. How does he make it look so easy? See, you look nothing like he did. Can you just help me? If you need it. It takes a moment, but Takira and I manage to get one of them out. We stumble and nearly trip our way up the steps and through the door. By the time we get to where Eric is, the person he carried in is already tucked in, and he's explaining the situation to a nurse. Eric notices our struggle, and without pausing his explanation for even a second, he pulls the covers back from a bed. We set them down, and Eric tucks them in. That's as much as I understand, Eric says. If you have any questions, you could ask these two. I'll be right back. There's one more. What followed was a series of questions with awkwardly given answers that probably contradicted each other if you thought too much about it. I believe the official story is Takira and I were the lookouts while the rest of our group was taking a bath, hence the nudity, when we were attacked by living algae which released spores that made people fall asleep, and in our frantic escape we threw our friends in a nearby abandoned cart, taking no chances to stop and grab clothes, and just ran. It doesn't really make much sense, but an answer was given and they accepted it, so who cares? It's not like it's that far outside of our reality anyway. Eric had already brought in the last person while we were giving our explanation, so there was nothing left to do but leave. Outside, Eric stops us. Hey, I have to get back to my post, but Maribel's off today. She'll probably be in the library. Sounds good, I say. Good. He looks at me for a moment. See you at dinner then? I'll make sure to give you a big scoop. You already do enough around here. You don't have to help serve. We can handle it. I know, I say. Eric rolls his eyes. He still makes sure to flash a smile before walking away, though.
His heart rate rises when he talks to you.
A shiver shoots down my spine. Eric doesn't look nearly far enough away, but he doesn't seem to react. I think you should be a little more considerate of...
I didn't utter a single word out loud.
He's like a little radio in our heads. Seemingly omnipotent cosmic horror, remember? I begin walking to the library. But back to the heart rate thing. You know what that means, right? It means nothing. It means he likes you.
Or he stressed him out.
It's probably that. Don't talk like that. What do you have against Eric? I don't have anything against Eric. Nothing at all. Then why won't you get with him? I just don't think he's into me like that.
You at least partially believe that. But there's something else causing that thought, isn't there? He hasn't told you everything, Takira. He hasn't told you the truth about some of the things that persist in his life.
Get out of my head.
The only time I've been in your head was when I saved your life. You're welcome, by the way. Regardless, that only provided some context for suspicions I already had. I've had plenty of practice spotting someone with a secret.
Jefferson, please, can you just not right now? Although I don't love being out of the loop, Jeremiah deserves privacy. A little trust is the least we can give him, right? Great. I'd been on autopilot, and now we're at the door of the library. I don't remember much of the walk at all. I step inside. The room isn't big per se. It's about the size of a personal library, with every inch of every wall occupied by a bookshelf. There's space in the middle for 2 tables, and sitting at one of them is Maribel. She looks up at the noise, her glasses shifting on her face. She smiles at the sight of me. Jeremiah? I thought you died, she says. You always say that. Well, yeah, it's easier to assume you died. I don't have to worry about you if you're already dead. She gets up and hugs me. And who's this? This is my friend, Takira. I'm trying to help her with something. They shake hands. Oh, a friend. Good. I always thought you should get with Eric. Right? Takira exclaims. Great. They're bonding over my love life. From what I can get out of Eric, I think he's totally game, Maribel continues. So what's stopping them? How have things been around here? I ask loudly. Maribel and Takira share a look. I can almost hear it in the back of my mind. That stopped them. Things have been pretty much the same. We're surviving and making the best of things. The bikers still stay far away, so it's all good. How about out there? Pretty much the same. Unfortunately, we were attacked before coming here. Unexpected, since I'm usually left alone, but not surprising, I guess. Oh, wow, but you guys made it out okay? Yeah, we're fine. Does that mean you'll be staying with us now? I don't know. Our arms are always open. I know. Maribel nods to herself. Did you find anything for us this time? She asks. Unfortunately, no, I respond. Takira speaks up. He brings stuff for you all? Mainly just books. Maribel motions around her. But they're appreciated. They can be a nice little break. I'll make sure to find some for next time, I say. I think I'm going to go take a nap. Would we be in the usual place? Yep. Maribel looks at Takira. If you want to hang out, I can show you to the quarters later. That sounds good to me, Takira says. With a nod, I make my leave. It's calming walking through the village. I wave at others from the community and make space for kids playing together. I enjoy the security and being able to just slow down, to feel the wind brushing against my skin and the sun keeping me warm. There's a mother caring for her baby, a little bundle of hope that still exists here. Good. I never fell asleep. I had just lied in bed, staring out the window, listening to the light breeze. There was so much to think about. Too much to think about. That doesn't matter. It's almost dinner time now, and I want to be online, helping serve. The sun is beginning to dip below some mountains far out in the distance. Some members of the community are working together to build a grand bonfire in the middle where everyone eats. I'm greeted by the cooks and servers, and as always, they're all very kind. They ask me how I've been, share stories to catch me up on what's happened since I've been here, and we just talk. It's been so long since I've just talked to people. Well, so long before Takira came along. When here, I always find myself wondering why I never stay. Then, time and time again, I make the choice to leave. I serve with a smile, trying to give accurate portions. I exchange some pleasantries with people, and I can't help but feel a warmth within me. But I have to leave. There's still a loose thread I've yet to snip. We're down to serving the last person. I only need to register to smile to know. A big portion, as promised, I say. Thank you. Now make sure to serve yourself, Eric says. What if I'm not feeling hungry? Oh, then that's unfortunate because you're still going to eat a full plate. I laughed to myself a little before grabbing a plate. There's rice, a vegetable stew, and some bread. I help myself as Eric waits for me. I follow him. He seems to already know where he wants to sit. How's your day? I ask. Good. Absolutely nothing happened, which is exactly how I like it. I guess staring mindlessly at some trees for hours on end is better than fighting off a horde of terrors. He grins, just a little better. He stops us at a table where Takira and Maribel are talking. Maribel is explaining something, I think. Honestly, I think we unfortunately brought this onto ourselves by simply being curious. To think, one experiment in one observatory, and now this. Eric injects himself into the conversation. Oh yay, you're explaining the conspiracy theory to someone else. Conspiracy theory? I ask. It's your fault, Eric says. There's no fault to be had, and there's no conspiracy theory, Maribel says. Just a possible hypothesis. Although I did get it from one of your books. A hypothesis has to be something you can measure and test, Eric says. Fine, then it's a theory, just not one of the conspiracy kind. She looks at me. In 1963, these researchers, Frank and Carl, made the Arecibo Radio Telescope in Puerto Rico. On November 16th, 1974, the Arecibo Observatory sent out the strongest signal ever beamed into space. We sent a message out into infinity, out into the void. One has to ask the question. I look up. What would happen if something were to answer? The night sky is clear and the eye isn't there, but I keep my eyes trained to the sky anyway. Maribel joins me, a question in her eyes as she looks up at it. Takira looks up too, her eyes filled with a little bit of hope. Eric doesn't look. He keeps his eyes trained on the plate in front of him, although he isn't eating. Without even thinking, I rest a hand on his lap, giving what I hope is a reassuring squeeze. How does everything taste today? He smiles a little. Let me see. He grabs some utensils and takes a bite. It's actually pretty good. Very similar to every other iteration, but good regardless. I perk up. Oh, right, Eric says. I forgot to mention, we found an old vinyl player out there. I get up in search of the music's source. Eric follows. I actually know this song, I say. You do? I don't recognize it at all. I don't think it was that popular of a song, but I love it. There. Man is pedaling on a stationary bike that's somehow powering the vinyl player. Oh, wow, I mutter. This is... Where'd you even find that, and who constructed this whole thing? This is genius. Would you like to dance? Eric asks. He'd just been looking at me, exactly as he is now. A hopeful question in those eyes. He raises his eyebrows a little. In a motion that could have definitely been smoother, he holds a hand out to me. I say nothing as I slip my hand into his. He smiles, leading me to a small clearing. He pulls me close. He leads. We somehow managed to work together enough to smoothly glide around our impromptu dance floor. How haven't I seen this before? I hadn't been faking, at least I don't think I've been, when I would say that I didn't think he liked me like this. And I don't think I really liked him like this either. But here we are. As the percussion takes over, our dancing evolves as well. There's more energy and we're almost stumping with each hit. He's beaming at me. It takes effort to keep a smile on my face. Why? Why can't I just... He squeezes me. There's concern on his face now. I don't think I did a great job keeping that smile on my face. He leans close to my ear. Follow me. He stops us and begins leading me from the now bustling area. I hadn't even noticed anyone else until now. He leads me through some of the buildings and then into what I think is a small hut attached to the side of one of the living quarters. There's some rustling before a lantern flares to life. I look around. The space is enough for 2 people to sit comfortably. Anything more and everyone will basically be right on top of each other. There's a bench pushed up against one of the walls and a shelf with a few books on the opposite. There's not much else to the space save for a window to let natural light in and the hook Eric is hanging the lantern on. Hey, I'm sorry for ruining the moment. I just... Eric speaks up. No problem. That was probably a lot. I'm sorry if I made you uncomfortable in any way. You didn't do anything. I'm just being stupid. What is it? He asks. What always makes you leave? My fingers are constantly running across my palm, through my fingers and around. I scratch my nails against each other. Scratch my palm. My eyes flick up to him. I don't know. I mean, I think I know, but I don't know why I'm allowing it to have such a hold on me. There's so little annoyance in size, but I still have to keep myself from shrinking away. He speaks. I think if you don't want whatever it is holding you back to have such power over you, you're going to need to actually acknowledge it. I don't think being vague has helped anyone. My thumb is circling in my palm. I sit down on the bench. When it came, I wasn't alone. I don't mean I was with friends or something. I mean that I was in a relationship with a man that I loved deeply. He was part of the wave of the people that got stuck. Sorry, I know you don't like talking about. He sits down next to me, resting a hand on my leg. He gives me a squeeze. For so long, I didn't know what to do. I just stayed where we had lived. Soon the water and power went out, but he was still just out there, frozen in time. So I learned how to survive, so I could stay there with him. I remember the day I had checked on him after not doing so for some time and just... His face, Eric. I couldn't tell if the skin was melting or if his skull was pushing out. The next morning he was gone. They all were. And yet I stayed. I was so used to waiting for him to return to me that I couldn't stop. When I'm here and I see all of you, it's like a part of me feels bad for not being there waiting for him. Do you think that's what he'd want you to do? Eric asks. What's stupid is that I've already accepted it isn't. Then maybe we should skip the part when you leave. Let's move on to when you stay. When you get your happy ending. I think I kind of prefer sad endings. They're supposed to be more real, I say. Was that supposed to be a joke? Was that your first time? It wasn't very good. I bumped my knee into his. I can't help but laugh a little. And besides, Eric says, I never believed that. I always hated when people said that. Sometimes you do get everything you want. It may not look how you expect it, but that doesn't mean it isn't there. Come home to your peaceful kingdom and let the dashing night protect you. I should have known you would find a way to make this even more corny. I look around. So is this supposed to be your castle? No. This is your corner of solitude. I put it together so that when you would do your thing where you leave when people are just starting to accept you, you could come here instead of leaving us again. I don't know if you've caught on, but I really want you to stay. For a moment, I can't do anything but look at him. You remind me of kindness. It was my favorite part of everything before. I'm glad it still lives in you. He blushes a little. I don't know about all that. I kiss him. I think I've been wanting to for a long time. I wouldn't be able to tell you if it's been a few seconds or a few hours, but we break apart, softly. There's nothing to say, really, so we sit in silence. Happy silence. He rests his head on my shoulder, and I welcome the embrace. Eventually, we join everyone back at the dinner. With people having finished eating, they were even more up and dancing. Even Akira and Mirabelle, although the moment they spot us, they stop dancing, whispering and giggling between each other as they walk over to us. Takira speaks first. Are you still a virgin? What makes you think I'm a virgin? You give off virgin energy. I think it's the sword? Eric cuts in. I like the sword. There's nothing wrong being a virgin, Jeremiah. We just talked, I say. Besides, I haven't been a virgin for a long time. Sure. Tell me about it on the dance floor. Takira grasps my hand and pulls me to the dance floor. I allow my body to move to the music and look around at everyone allowing themselves to have a good time, laughing together. The pain is still there. A part of me still pulls in the direction of my house, but it's not as strong anymore. The important part's to know that I'm already home.
Takira, Jeremiah, I feel something.
Jefferson comes in like a radio again.
From outside, something's coming.
What? Takira asks. Her mouth doesn't move.
I don't know what it is, but it's big.
We both look to the wall holding us, but obviously we can't see anything. There's a tower there. Eric. He looks over at me. Is there a lock on that tower over there? No. Is something wrong? He asks. No. I don't know. Maybe? Jeremiah? I actually really don't know, I say. We'll take you. Before I can protest, Eric is talking to Maribel. Then we're leaving the dancing group, walking across the field to the tower. It fits the four of us comfortably, and we're able to look out over the landscape. Are we supposed to be looking for something? Maribel asks. Takira speaks up, probably censoring and relaying information as best she can. I think I heard something. I could be being paranoid, but nothing should be near here. Not anything concerning anyways, Eric says. There's a light popping. We all look out. As it gets closer, it becomes clear it's not popping. It's more a mixture of sputtering and rumbling. It's the sound of an engine. Not too far away, a biker breaches the tree line. It stares up at us. Still. The moonlight reflects off its eyes. And off so many eyes still partially obscured by the trees. Okay, that's it for chapter 6. Bruv. That was the penultimate episode. The final episode is up next. Of course, I haven't gotten into editing this episode yet because I'm recording. So I'm pretty sure this is accurate, but that I'm pretty sure there are barely any effects, if at all, in this chapter. The song is there, of course. Art exhibit by Young the Giant, I believe. Dope song. Love the song. Okay. But yeah, I took out a lot of the sound effects because not only were they not very good, it added so much more time to this, and it's probably the reason why I've been doing this for 6 months now instead of just, I don't know, a regular month in September, October. Although I still have not finished writing. That's the wild part. Chapter 7 is mostly written. I think I'm literally just at the epilogue, basically. But not really, because it's going to be solving some things. I don't think there is going to be an epilogue. It's going to end right at the resolution, and there's a very specific reason for that. But, yeah. Final episode coming up soon, whenever, hopefully not a month. It's almost done being written. Okay, according to the last time I checked, 3,246 of the words already written. So now I just have to record it and then edit it and then just throw it up. Just throw it up. I'm so tired of this not being done. It's been fun, but it's also kind of ridiculous that I'm still on this. Bro, the plan got lost in the sauce so quickly. But yeah, as always, if you have listened up to this point, it means a lot. If this was the first episode you listened to for some reason, it still means a lot. But you should also check out the other stuff. And also check out the first 2 Idiotically Spooky Places. Because it's all one long narrative, technically. Jefferson straight up from the second, which is technically an expansion of one of the short stories in the first, but also the first is the first one, and the second one gets kind of meta, but also still fake. Why? Because, yeah. But I don't know if I'll do a spooky place this year. It's fun. Maybe I probably will, and it'll probably take way too long to finish. But it's still just fun. But okay. I'll let you go.